After spending so much time alone, doing things alone, going to the movies alone, having dinners alone, moving countries alone, I've realized one thing: the most neglected relationship there is your relationship with yourself. And today we're changing that, because we're talking about how to actually solo date yourself, how to cultivate that deep self-love within you. I'm so tired of seeing women invest so much energy, time, and money into relationships with other people, romantic relationships, friendships, but for some reason we're not investing into the most important relationship, the relationship with ourselves. If you watch Sex and the City, you would know that most of the characters were focused on romantic relationships and friendships. But one character that stood out the most was Samantha Jones. Why? Because she always took the time to do things alone. She always took the time to actually explore what she likes, what she doesn't like. She was never putting more energy into relationship with other people. She was more concerned with her relationship with herself, because she understood that this is the relationship that she will have to carry, respect, love, and nurture till the rest of her days. And I think a lot of us can learn from her, because she really put herself first. She really invested the time to get to know herself. And the biggest benefit of doing things alone is that you don't have to convince anyone to join you. If you want to watch a movie that just came out, you don't have to find a friend that likes that genre. You don't have to do that. You can just go yourself and actually enjoy the time with yourself. You can focus on what you want, when you want, and how you want it. Nobody puts any limitations on you. You don't have to arrive there on a certain time. You just plan things as you want. And I think that's the biggest benefit of solo dating, because it can happen anywhere, anytime, and on the terms that you've set out for yourself, not the terms that somebody else created for you. Another benefit of solo dating is that it doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, it can be completely free. You don't need to go to an expensive restaurant or go to Bali on a solo trip to actually love yourself, to cultivate that inner love. It doesn't matter if the activity is free, cheap, or expensive. It will really not change anything, because it's all about intentionally designing the time, blocking off the time in your schedule to focus on you, to focus on your relationship with yourself. Well, number one obstacle of why you still haven't taken yourself out, why you're still shy to ask for a table for one, is because of this term called the spotlight effect. It's a very interesting phenomenon in psychology, where you start to think that everybody stares at you, that everybody can see that you're uncomfortable. But in reality, the spotlight that you think you're in is not real. It's just in your head, because you're scared of doing it alone for the first time. You start thinking that that's how people perceive you, but people actually don't care. People don't give a shit. Honestly, if you ask the person sitting at that table, do you think it's embarrassing that I'm here by myself? They would say, no, I'm actually thinking about paying my mortgage. They're thinking about random things. You're definitely not on their mind. Everybody just wants to enjoy their time, and they don't really care if you're with friends or if you're by yourself. Once you realize that nobody actually cares that much, it will become so much more easier to go out and do things alone, because you'll realize that there's actually other people doing it too. And they might also do it for the first time, and they might also feel uncomfortable. So there's other people in the same boat as you. The focus here is to really focus on your internal feeling, rather than trying to look outside and look at people's reactions and kind of look for that external validation. You have to give that validation to yourself first. You have to tell yourself that I'm doing this to actually nurture my relationship with myself, and I don't really care what people are gonna think. In fact, they might not think anything. So this is the mindset I want you to go into your first solo dates. I want you to remember that there's nothing more important than your inner peace. You'll start feeling more confident as you go. I remember going to the movies by myself in 2019 when I just moved to Canada, and I thought to myself, isn't it weird that I'm here by myself? Everybody is in couples, everybody is with their friends. Isn't it weird? Like, am I a lonely person? But then I really had no choice. So the first time was kind of weird. I felt really awkward. I felt like everybody was with somebody. I felt like maybe I needed to make some friends. Like, I couldn't really get my head around the fact that I'm here by myself, because it was the first time doing it. Even though I've traveled alone before, even though I've sat at restaurants alone, going to the movies was kind of weird. I felt like it was something that couples do, maybe friends do. I didn't expect myself to be there by myself. And that was a really eye-opening experience for me, because I realized that it felt so liberating. It felt so good to just go to the movie that I wanted to watch. I didn't need to consult. I didn't need to ask somebody, what is the time that you want to go? I just went, bought the ticket, and enjoyed the movie. After that experience, I realized that I can do a lot of the things alone and I can actually enjoy them. There's a lot of activities that were conventionally designed for couples, like going to the movies, going to dinners. Let me tell you that all of those activities that you enjoy doing with other people, you can do by yourself. You can totally do that by yourself and actually enjoy it even more, honestly, than being with other people sometimes. And that's the benefit of solo dating, because you'll start to enjoy your own company so much that if you decide to invite other people into your circle, into your environment, into your space, you will actually enjoy their company, not because you're lacking something and you want to fill the void, you're just bored or you can't stand being by yourself. No, you will select people based on what they bring to you, what emotions they evoke in you. And I think that's such a power move when you can decide, do I actually want to hang out with those people, or am I actually just bored and I just can't stand being by myself? So I want you to really start wrapping your head around solo dating and understanding the importance of it. It's not just dressing up and grabbing a matcha and going to a cute coffee shop. That's maybe a part of it, but it's spending time by yourself, quality time by yourself, so that you can be by yourself as happy just as you are with other people. This experience of solo dating will make you so selective and so picky on who is allowed into your life. Let me tell you that it's gonna just increase the standards so much, because you're no longer looking for just people around, for just friends. You're not just looking for somebody around just because you're bored. No, you actually love your own company. And I think that kind of woman is really powerful. No matter what happens in her life, she always has herself. She loves herself, she knows herself, and she can totally enjoy her own company. After a lot of years of solo dating, I've come up with some basic rules that I have for myself and that I'm gonna share with you, and maybe they're gonna work for you on solo dating. Why? Because I think it's really important to design the space intentionally. Solo dating has to feel intentional. Solo dating has to feel like it was cared for. It has to feel like somebody thought about it. Somebody, aka you, thought about it, planned, executed, curated it, and enjoyed it. Rule number one that I have is that you have to dress up for yourself. I don't get why we don't dress up for ourselves. We dress up to go on a date with a guy. We dress up to meet up with a friend to a cute brunch spot. We dress up to somebody's birthday party. You always dress up. Yes, you dress up to these things, but you aren't dressing up to go out by yourself. Why is that? The biggest mindset shift is to start thinking about solo dating as regular dating. You want to look your best. You want to feel your best. You want to feel confident. Whenever you decide to have a solo date with yourself, I want you to really be intentional about how you present yourself to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and do you love what you see? Because you better love what you see. And when you go out into the world, you gotta enjoy the time by yourself, because you actually designed it, you curated it, and you put in the effort, just like you're putting effort to go out with other people. Number two, start small. Don't go into the elaborate dinner date, let's say, by yourself. Start small. You can set aside 30 minutes in your day at home. It's a free activity to just journal, or just to enjoy the music, or just look out of the window and notice the patterns in the nature. The clouds changing, the colors changing in the sky, the birds chirping. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be big. You can start really small. The most important thing is for you to, again, set aside some time and not allow for that many distractions, because that brings me to my third point, is you have to remove any distractions. I'm sorry, but a solo date is not a solo date if you're on your phone. Being on your phone doesn't count as a solo date, because you're consumed by something that you see online, that you're reading. I want you to really be more present, because would you allow that behavior on a date? Would you actually take out your phone and start like reading something, or start posting, or start liking things and watching funny reels with cats? No, you will not, because you actually respect that person and you act accordingly. I really want you to remove those distractions. Another one that I've noticed, because I'm going out so much by myself, is I see a lot of ladies watching a TV show, watching a podcast, watching a YouTube video on their phones while they're eating, while they're out. I think it's okay, but there's a but. If you want to get to know yourself, if you want to cultivate a stronger relationship with yourself, watching a TV show, watching a movie will be just a distraction. You're not thinking about the important things there. You're avoiding things. Journaling is a completely different story because you're journaling your thoughts, you're listening to yourself. There's no distraction. You're just putting your thoughts on paper. But being consumed by something, consuming something in general, I think is the biggest distraction, and it's something that can really ruin your solo date because it will no longer feel intentional. You will not even notice how 30 minutes, 40 minutes of your time has passed and you still haven't strengthened your relationship with yourself. And lastly, number 4, I want you to stop rushing it. A really interesting observation that I had when I just started solo dating is that I've noticed that I'm rushing myself. When I went to a coffee shop, when I went to dinner, when I went to lunch, I didn't allow myself for the same time that I would have if I, let's say, was on a date or if I was with my friend, because usually, restaurants, coffee shops, they allow for an hour and a half time limit, maybe 2 hours. But I felt like I was constantly rushing myself. I was kind of getting out of the places in like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 45 minutes. But if I was with somebody else, I would actually take the time, we would talk. But because when you're by yourself, you don't really have that another person, so you cannot really talk about anything. If you talk to yourself, it's going to be just so weird. Everybody's going to be like, why is she talking to herself? But that's not the point. I think it's really important for us to take the time, as much time as you want. I think the best cure for rushing is to start people watching, is to start observing the environment. You will actually learn so much about yourself, about other people, about the world, and how you see the world, how you respond to what's happening. You can start catching your thoughts. You can start observing your own thoughts. And I think that's the only experience that you will have if you actually not rush, if you don't have any distractions, if you set aside that time, if you make it a little bit more special. Those are the things that you will start learning. Those are the things that you will start noticing about yourself and about the people around you. And I think we can all agree that there's so many things, so many activities that you can do alone that, again, are not conventionally designed for people that want to do it alone. But there's everything in this world can be done alone. That's the beauty of it, because you don't have to compromise on your interests. You don't need to wait for your partner. You don't need to wait for your friend to like that specific movie, to like that activity, to go to that workshop. You can do that alone. The only thing that I want you to focus on is to allocate enough time for yourself. Don't cut yourself short. You have to allow for that time for yourself, just like if you would plan a date with somebody. Dating yourself will help you so much with your confidence, because a woman who can sit alone at a restaurant and actually enjoy her whole time, a woman who can go to the movies and enjoy watching that movie, a woman that can allow for stillness and not be bothered by it, a woman that actually enjoys her own company is unstoppable. She is the most powerful woman you will ever meet. And I want you to become that woman with me. My name is Alina, and I help women become their most confident, magnetic selves. See you soon.